Hello friends, I'm the captain of the Oro Jackson and welcome to the Oro Jackson Review, a great place to hear One Piece related theories, trivia, and everything in between. Before we start, there's some very important things I need to get out of the way. First, yes, this is a new channel. No, you don't know if every video will be a banger, but Frankie thinks it's cool, so you're pretty much obliged to hit me up with a super like and subscribe to show the Google algorithm what's up. Now that we've gotten that very important business out of the way, today's topic is going to be a character analysis in the defense of Sanji. A glorious character with so much value in comedy and just the right amount of perviness. And recently, with the last few chapters, I've seen a lot of Sanji hate online. People are either just attacking Sanji or complaining about how Oda hates Sanji. And these comments have just gotten so much worse over the last few chapters, and I just have to say, what? It doesn't even make sense, guys. I mean, Sanji is a member of the Monster Trio, a group that will go on to live in infamy, a group that will one day be able to stand head-to-head with the likes of Goldie Roger, Scopper Gaban, and Silvers Rayleigh. There is no way that this is the end of Sanji. Oda knows exactly what he's doing with Sanji, and I can tell you why. But before we start, I know that this is a very contentious topic among several people, namely in the Zoro versus Sanji sphere, but I must emphasize this from the beginning. This is not a Zoro vs. Sanji video. Both of them have their own roles, own strengths, and very distinct impacts on the story of One Piece. This video will cover why the way Oda portrays Sanji fits perfectly with the greater themes in One Piece, the advancement of the story, and why Sanji is being set up for greatness. So, One Piece has had several themes that play a huge role in the story, two of which I'd like to narrow in on for this video: inherited will, and loyalty and faith in your Nakama. And I think that Whole Cake Island is the perfect place to start because we get to see how important inherited will can be on character development. Inherited will is very important in One Piece, especially because you see it all the time. Luffy carries on the will of Goldie Roger and Portgas the Ace, Trafalgar Law carries on the will of Corazon, and Chopper carries on the will of Hiraluk. And there's so many more instances of it as well. In Whole Cake Island, we get to see how different Sanji could have become based on the decisions he made. He could have become a cold, callous, ruthless tyrant with no respect for women, not to mention human life, like Judge. Or he could have become a good and decent gentleman with respect for food and women, like Zeph. Maybe a little bit too much respect for women, but let's just move on. Sanji inherited the love of Sora, his mother, and the principles of Zeph, his true father. Sanji's brothers, on the other hand, inherited Judge's will and subsequently became the biggest douches that there ever were. And recently, a lot of people have been complaining about how Sanji isn't able to break away from his rule of never hurting a woman, that it would actually be a character development in the right step for him to hurt a woman. But I think this issue actually transcends Sanji's chivalry. It actually comes down to honoring the people you love and the values that they've taught you. Because if you can't honor the people you love in your darkest hour, if you can't honor the values that they taught you, if you can't be true to your own values in your darkest hour, then that's not a life worth living. And that's what Oda is trying to teach us. And in Wano especially, we get to see how important inherited will can be, and why it can never be abandoned. Now, when it comes to loyalty to the Nakama, this is more of me just making connections in Wano, and directly responding to some of the current Wano Sanji haters. Let's look back to Enies Lobby. Sanji got on that train to protect Robin and get her back. While she may have been trying to protect him and the rest of the crew, she did turn her back on him. She didn't have enough faith in him as a friend, and maybe even as a fighter. Her loyalty and faith in her friends were put to the test. But Sanji showed up. He showed up with the rest of the crew, stood on that tower, and proclaimed his loyalty to Robin. He showed up and earned her faith. And I think that we get to see a reversal of the same situation with Robin coming to save Sanji. Sanji, being the trusting person he always is, put his faith in Robin, and she showed up. That's what true family is. When everybody else doubted Sanji, Robin knew. That's called friendship. That's called trust. Whatever it is. And I think that the way Sanji yells for Robin is a direct callback to Eni's lobby to when Robin yells for help. In a way, this is a culminating point in a subtle relationship that has lasted almost a decade. And I think that it's important to first understand how Sanji fits into the Straw Hat Pirates to reconcile his actions with the One Piece story. Sanji may be a fighter, but he is just so much more. I mean, if you had to rank Sanji's major characteristics, it would probably come to you in this order. His love for women, his love for cooking, and then maybe at the end the fact that he's into some weird feet stuff. And that makes sense. Luffy and Zoro are the big fighters on the crew. And in the monster trio, you can't just have three big bad fighters. A story always needs a varied cast, which is why it makes sense that Oda doesn't always give Sanji the big fight or the big W, because at the end of the day, Sanji is the perfect support character. He's a character who can throw down at any point with Luffy and Zoro, a character who can lead the crew, and to a lesser extent provide comedy with almost anybody when necessary. That kind of range, a character with that much range, needs to be utilized in a far greater capacity than some guy who just kicks people. And we can see that Oda knows how much range Sanji has when he decides to power scale big bad villains like Doffy or Virgo by pitting them against Sanji. Because he knows that Sanji's great moments don't necessarily come when he's fighting. And it's not like Sanji doesn't have some great moments. The man chased down the entirety of CP9 on his own. He launched a counterattack on the Big Mom pirates on his own. He blocked an attack from Big Mom. He knocked out X-Drake. That's some pretty ball-busting stuff right there. And I think that in Wano, with how the Sanji and Black Maria situation was going, I really think we're getting a chance to see how Sanji can be used to move the story forward and put other characters on display, like Robin. This is a huge One Piece arc right now, but it follows the same basic structure of other One Piece arcs. We know Sanji's going to get a fight. We know it's going to be a big bad. There's no way he isn't getting one. But now, for the first time in almost 15 years, we get to see Robin get an actual fight. And that is why Sanji's indispensable. Because of his agency, because of his ability to take on any role to move the story forward. Oda knows that. He knows that Sanji's like the Swiss Army knife of characters, guys. He can do anything. And I know a lot of people are going to be thinking now, Captain, slow your roll, bro. That's good and all. But we just need to want to see some action, bro. Sanji needs to kick some ass, and he needs to do it now. And if all the stuff up till this point hasn't been enough to convince you, then fine. The adults are done talking. Let's get to the wild stuff. Sanji will get a fight, and it will be a good one. And no, it won't be some pathetic fight against Jack where they're both wounded, because that would be disappointing. Sanji has fought big bads when he was injured before, namely against Jaibura after having his ass whooped by Khalifa. This isn't even a question. I see Sanji fighting either King or Queen. Chopper is getting his time in the sun at the moment with Queen, but I don't think anybody sees him really ending that fight. I have a video coming up about how the fights in Wano will stabilize, so be on the lookout for that. But I see Sanji taking on Queen. I also think that it'll be Zoro taking King, but that's for next week's analysis video. Just a little drop there to, spark some interest. So whatever it may be, Sanji's day in glory is not over. I assure you of it. He is and forever will be a legend, and Oda has not forgotten that. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Maybe throw a like my way and show the Google algorithm what's up. Also, comment down below, tell me what you thought of this video, how I can make my future videos better for you. And please, please, please tell me what your favorite Sanji moment is. I plan to post videos every week, so be on the lookout for that. Until next time, mahalo.